Nasa bansa pa rin po ba sila, sir?
May isang umalis ng bansa, ano ko na ulit na.
Naglabas na ng Immigration Lookout Bulletin Order ang Department of Justice laban sa mga individual na pinangalanan ni Julie Patidongan na sangkot umano sa kaso ng mga nawawalang sabungero. Kabilang sa mga pinangalanan ay si business tycoon Atong Ang, at ang dati nitong kasintahang aktres, na si Gretchen Barreto. Nangangahulugan ito na kailangang i-report ng Bureau of Immigration sa law enforcement agencies, ang kinaroroonan ng mga taong nasa naturang order. Ayon kay Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla, inilabas ang lookout order laban sa mga taong tinukoy ng whistleblower na si Julie Patidongan, na dati ring nagsabing si Atong Ang mismo, ang utak sa pagkawala ng mga biktima. Matatanda ang ibinunyag ni Julie na pinatay umano ang mga nawawalang sabungero, dahil sa isyu ng game fixing, at itinapon daw ang kanilang mga bangkay sa Taal Lake sa Batangas. Paliwanag ng DOJ, ang lookout order ay kautusan na nag-uutos sa Bureau of Immigration, na bantayang mabuti ang pagbiyahe ng mga taong iniimbestigahan. Nang tanungin kung lahat ng sospek ay nasa bansa pa, sinabi ni Remulla na isa raw sa kanila ang nakalabas na ng Pilipinas.
Napakasakit po na nangyari ang krimen na ito sa distrito ko. This is one of the reasons this representation feels the urgency and the weight of this case. In fact, naalala ko ang nangyari noon nung ginagawa pa lamang itong Manila Arenang ito. Kami ay nag-rally against it. Why? Because the Santa Ana District is actually a national heritage site. At napakarami dong mga simbahan, may mga paaralan. At ang iniisip namin na ito ang magiging kauna-unahang sabungan sa Maynila. Although, tinatay nilang ikumpinsi kami na yan ay magiging sports complex. Subalit, later on, binigyan po ito ng lisensya ng City Hall. Dahil nabigyan po ito na itayo. At yan na po nagsimula ang kauna-unahang isabong sa buong Pilipinas. Nakakalungkot, pero yan po ang nangyari. At sa distrito ko pa. That's the story of this missing sabongeros is one of abduction, intimidation, attempted bribery, and continued impunity. It is alleged that syndicates operated with the protection of rogue policemen and powerful individuals. And even now, remains retrieved from Taal Lake are being tested in the search for truth. In my privileged speech on August 4, I stressed that these cases must be considered extrajudicial killings. The disturbing possibility is that what we once uncovered in the 19th Congress, abuses of power, killings covered up by authority, has continued and spread into new forms. Have we indeed allowed the culture of impunity to take root? That is one of the questions we need to answer. That's why I welcome the President man o opisyal, kahit malakas, mabigat o mayaman, hindi sila mangingibabaw sa batas. End of quote. These words give hope that there will be no sacred cows in our quest for the truth. That in our search for justice, no one will be above the law. Before ending, ladies and gentlemen, my dear colleagues and sword speakers, let me reiterate a point I have made repeatedly as a member of this chamber. This tragedy cannot be separated from the root cause that enabled it. And what is the root cause? Gambling. For years, since I was a councilor in the city of Manila in 1992, I have spoken out against gambling because it is my conviction that gambling breeds other evils, crime, corruption, and violence. Kung hindi po namin napahinto ang high alay sa Maynila, na tinatayaan kahit na ng mga estudyante sa mga paaralan, ito ang magiging kauna-unahang cyber gambling sa buong Pilipinas. Hindi po yung isabong, kundi ang high alay. Inihahanda na po ito na magiging hub ang Manila upang i-display ang gambling na e-gambling sa buong mundo. Ito po yung napahinto natin. The case of the missing Sabongeros proved this once again. It is my hope that these hearings will open the eyes of our kababayan to this reality and that government will act not just to resolve this case, but to address the deeper social problem at its core. Ito po ang katotohanan. Gambling is the devil's seed. Once it takes root, it grows into corruption, crime, and even wanton killings. If we truly want to protect our people, especially our young people, from these evils, then the only righteous path is to expunge this evil seed altogether. Mamaya nagsasabi na ating bansa hindi maging economically developed kung wala ang gambling. Hindi po totoo yan. Meron po tayong bansa katulad ng UAE, katulad ng Malaysia na walang gambling pero mayaman. Hanggang ngayon, matagal na ang gambling sa bansa natin. Marami pa mahihirap at lalo pa naghihirap, mga kaibigan. So, my friends, our task as a committee is to see to it that those responsible for the disappearance of these Sabongeros are brought to the bar of justice. We owe it to the families who have suffered too long. We owe it to our people who deserve a government that protects and not prey upon its citizens. So, ang akin pong request, let us move forward with both courage and compassion, trusting that in God's time, truth and justice will prevail. Welcome po sa initial meeting natin dito sa Committee on Human Rights. Dalawang bagay po ang ating pag-uusapan dito. The first part is the organizational meeting, and the second part, as we have invited our resource speakers today in different agencies of government, ay briefing po on the reported cases of abduction and alleged killings of missing Sabongeros and the state of e-sabong operations in the country. So, bago ko po tawagin ang unang-unang magsasalita at hayaan ko na po ang ating sekretarya ng DICT magsalita sapagkat kinakailangan din po niya umalis later on, ay gusto ko munang makita ang video ito, the presentation of the committee's jurisdiction and accomplishments in the 19th Congress.
So there has been no preliminary investigation proper yet?
Yes, ma'am. It's about to begin.
So it's just about, we're talking here about the evaluation stage
Yes,
by
Your
the
Honor.
National Prosecution Service
Yes,
before
Mr.
it launches a formal preliminary investigation stage.
Yes, ma'am.
And how many exactly are the missing Sabongeros?
Based on record by the police, there are 34 missing Sabongeros that were declared and reportedly missing in 8 incidents in 2021 and in 2022.
34 Sabongeros, 8 incidents.
Yes.
And this could be just the minimum number.
Yes.
So you have reason to believe that there could be more of the Sabongeros missing.
Yes, Mr. Chair, according to our witness, there are more than that of the 34 missing Sabongeros. And because 34 is just the official record of the police, of the PNP.
Official
but
record of the PNP.
Yes, ma'am.
And you
Yes,
can only rely on the official records of the law enforcers like the PNP.
Yes, Your Honor.
How many exactly? Do we have a picture or do we have a number of police officers or law enforcers involved or have been implicated?
I don't have here the official document about the cases filed against those involved PNP personnel, but I believe the representatives from the PNP can answer the exact number of PNP personnel involved.
Mr. Chair, can we have the answer of the PNP if they know the answer? I'm just curious about how many law enforcers are now being investigated or are supposedly linked to the case of the missing Sabongeros.
Mr. Chair, on our record, there are 18 PNP personnel involved in this case.
And these are what? Police officers? I mean,
Yes, Mr.
what's their rank? What's the highest ranked police officer that has been who has been implicated?
We are the highest ranking officer involved is a police colonel, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Now, of course, we're all interested with respect to the whistleblower. DOJ, just a follow-up to the question of the Honorable Pimentel.
Yes, Your Honor.
What's the status of the application for Witness Protection Program? First, please confirm whether or not there has been a formal application for the WPP coverage of this whistleblower.
I believe the formal application for the coverage of the Witness Protection Program on our whistleblower is still on the process. And because based on the Republic Act 981, which is the Witness Protection and Security Benefit Act, the witness can only apply under the Witness Protection Program once the case has been evaluated by our prosecutor. And we are still waiting for the official document about the conduct of the preliminary investigation.
We are talking.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
According to
Go ahead,
our police counterpart, the witness is very much secured as of today.
Okay, so we're talking here about Julie Dondon Totoy Patidongan,
Yes, Your Honor.
and is now very much secured under security protection
By the police.
by the PNP.
By the PNP.
So since there's still no official coverage of that witness under the WPP,
None yet, ma'am.
you cannot gain custody.
Yes, Your Honor.
The DOJ, or
Yes.
specifically the WPP office,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
not even on a provisional
None yet.
status pending the evaluation of the application for WPP coverage?
I cannot answer for now that question, but as far as I know, there's no official coverage for Witness Protection Program for our witnesses yet.
No official coverage yet, notwithstanding the very importance and the urgency of the matter. I think there's no doubt that something like this is definitely urgent. And we expect, of course, DOJ to act swiftly on this because we're talking here about the safety, security of that witness and the possible involvement of big personalities.
Yes, Mr. Chair, but we are very much confident that the PNP had committed to provide security coverage to our witnesses.
Okay, so far as the DOJ is concerned and its attached agency, NBI, the NBI is not at all involved in the investigation of this particular case, but only PNP?
No, Mr. Chair, they are also supporting the PNP investigation on these cases. They are also conducting parallel investigation on missing Sabongero.
Because of course, the so-called revelations, the revelations of Patidongan are quite serious and quite alarming, and that I would assume that both the NBI and the PNP, as investigative agencies, are actually serious in validating, verifying, confirming those serious allegations and accusations of Mr. Patidongan. My point is, of course, I don't think you are at liberty to disclose exactly the findings, preliminary or otherwise, about the investigation. I just wish to express here that I hope that the current investigation being made by both NBI and PNP actually cover big fish or influential or big personalities allegedly involved, as revealed by whistleblower Patidongan. So this body can be assured by PNP and NBI that you're not just looking at the middle level or the low level alleged perpetrators, but also any other personality that who has been linked to this case.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of the Philippine National Police, I give the full commitment of the agency in pursuing this investigation until the end.
Okay, just one manifestation. Thank you so much. Just one manifestation. I also wish that the DOJ would speed up its evaluation process with respect to the WPP coverage of the whistleblower. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congresswoman De Lima. Meron lang akong gustong itanong sa ating PNP, no, ha? Meron akong balita na malaking pera ang gustong ibaksak nung maimpluwensyang tao sa Philippine National Police. Meron pa kayo balitang ganyan?
Mr. Chair, we are not aware of that.
We're not aware of that. Pero nabalitaan namin na magbabagsak ng malaking pera yung idinimanda ng DOJ, di ba? Kayo ba ng demanda nun, ASEC?
Based on record, sir, there are 2 cases have been filed against the suspects of missing Sabongeros. One that happened in Manila Arena and one that happened in San Pablo City.
2 cases have been filed.
Yes, Your Honor.
To whom? Can you mention the names, please?
The CIDG had filed cases before in 2022 against Julie Patidongan, Mark Carlo Zabala, Virgilio Bayog, Roberto Matillano, Jonas Alingasa, and Johnny Consolacion. And this is the case of missing Sabongero that transpired in Manila Arena on January 13, 2022.
What was the case filed against them?
Kidnapping, Your Honor.
So those, the whistleblowers right now have been filed kidnapping, ibig sabihin yan? Si Patidongan,
Yes, Your
meron
Honor.
siyang kasong kidnapping? So
Yes,
what you
Your
said?
Honor.
Until now.
Until now.
So therefore, with that, in line with the questioning of Congressman De Lima, you cannot, am I made to understand that you cannot put him in the witness protection program because of that case?
They are now on bail, Mr. Chair, and the study on whether he is qualified to become a witness is now being studied by the DOJ.
So they are not yet qualified to be a state witness.
But the CIDG had considered him as a witness, although there have been cases of kidnapping against them. Sila po kasi ay on bail ngayon, and he surfaced and revealed what happened on the real story about missing Sabongeros. That's why he is now still being considered as a state witness.
Okay, who are the other personalities that you filed cases to?
There are a group of policemen who are involved in the missing Sabongero that happened in San Pablo City, Your Honor. But I'm sorry because I was not able to bring the proper document about this case.
Are those the 18 that are now in custody? Is that what you're saying? CIDG, can you answer that, please? Meron na kayong mga police in custody na kasama dyan sa missing Sabongeros, di ba?
They're not under our custody, Mr. Chair, but
They're
they're
not
under
under
preventive.
custody.
Yes, sir. They're under preventive suspension. They were placed under preventive
So,
suspension.
therefore, the newspapers were wrong when they said that they're under custody.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So what's the difference between being in custody and being under protection? Preventive suspension, that pala.
In restrictive custody, Mr. Chair, we have physical we have physical accounting on their bodies. In preventive suspension, sir, they're not performing the regular duties, hence they're because they have been suspended from work, but they are not under our restrictive custody, Mr. Chair.
So right now, what is the status of those 18 policemen that are under preventive suspension?
They are they are still under active service, but they are they are under preventive suspension, Mr. Chair.
Parang floating.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. 6 of those 18 have already been dismissed from the service.
They have been dismissed from the service.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Are they still receiving salaries and remunerations? Sino sasagot niyan? Attorney Calderon
No,
ba?
Mr. Chair.
They're not receiving any more salaries.
No, Mr. Chair.
Kailan pa sila na-dismiss? Because you were telling us that they were under preventive suspension pa eh. Until such time that somebody told you about them being dismissed. When were they dismissed?
Mr. Chair, may I refer to the National Police Commission, sir?
Go ahead, Attorney Calinisan.
Yes, sir. Actually, there were 18 names, to clarify your question, Mr. Chair. There were 18 names filed, or at least implicated by alias Totoy.
18 what?
18 names of policemen.
18
Your Honor.
names, okay.
And,
Can you reveal those names to us in this committee?
yes, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, will you please tell the names?
The first one is Police Colonel Jacinto Rodriguez Malinaw. Second is Police Lieutenant Colonel Ryan J. Eliab Orapa. Third is Major Mark Philip Simborio Almedilla. Fourth is Police Lieutenant Henry Samar Sasaluya. Fifth is Police Executive Master Sergeant Aaron Ezra Lagahit Cabillan. Sixth is Chief Master Sergeant Arturo Opalia de la Cruz Jr. Seventh is Senior Master Sergeant Joey Natanawan Encarnacion. Eighth is Police Senior Master Sergeant Anderson Orozco Abari. Ninth is Police Senior Master Sergeant Mark Anthony Aguilo Manrique. 10th is Police Master Sergeant Michael Jaistin Claveria. 11th is Police Master Sergeant Renan Lagrosa Fulgencio. 12th is Police Staff Sergeant Alfredo Uy Andes. 13 is Police Staff Sergeant Edmond Hernandez Munoz. 14th, Police Corporal Fabri Opalia de la Cruz. 15, Police Corporal Angel Joseph Pero Martin. 16 is Police Staff Sergeant Daryl Gaceta Paghangaan. 17th is Patrolman Rigel Sanggalang Brosas. 18th is Patrolman Roy Magdayo Navarrete. Since not all of them are in active service, we're only able to file formal charges against 12 of them, Mr. Chair.
What are the charges filed against them? And what is the very reason why they were dismissed?
There are multiple reasons for those who have been dismissed prior to the NAPOLCOM filing, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
Police Lieutenant Henry Samar Sasaluya was previously dismissed effective March 15, 2023, in admin case number NIAS NMP 22-073 for grave misconduct, grave irregularity in the performance of duty, grave dishonesty, and conduct unbecoming of a police officer. For Police Master Sergeant Michael Haistin Claveria, he was dismissed for 2 cases, effective December 29, 2022 for the first case in admin case number NIAS NMP 22076 for grave misconduct and conduct unbecoming of a police officer, and another case effective March 15, 2023 for admin case number NIAS NMP 22073 for grave misconduct, grave irregularity in the performance of duty, grave dishonesty, and conduct unbecoming of a police officer. Another policeman, Police Staff Sergeant Daryl Gaceta Paghangaan, was previously dismissed effective December 29, 2022 for admin case number NIAS NMP 22-076 for grave misconduct and conduct unbecoming of a police officer. Another policeman, Patrolman Rigel Sanggalang Brosas, was dismissed for 2 cases. The first one, effective December 29, 2022, for admin case number NIAS NMP 22-076 for grave misconduct and conduct unbecoming of a police officer. And another one, effective March 15, 2023, for admin case number NIAS NMP 22073 for grave misconduct, grave irregularity in the performance of duty, grave dishonesty, and conduct unbecoming of a police officer. And the last one, at least for the alias Totoy cases, is Patrolman Roy Magdayo Navarrete, who had 2 cases which caused his dismissal. First one is effective December 29, 2022 for admin case number NIAS NMP 22-076 for grave misconduct, conduct unbecoming of a police officer, and another one effective March 15, 2023 in admin case number NIAS NMP 2022-073 for grave misconduct, grave irregularity in the performance of duty, grave dishonesty, and conduct unbecoming of a police officer, Your Honor.
When 8 Sabongeros were declared missing doon sa Manila Arena, I already stood in the plenary hall and delivered my privilege speech to actually expose those 8 people, no? 8 pa lang yan. And that was, when was that? That was 2020. 22? 2022. Before that time, no? 8 pa lang yan. Ngayon, 34 na. And ano man ang kalagayan ng mga yan, as you have told us, the prosecutor Reyes told us that very positive kayo that charges will be filed, no? And I do not believe that those missing Sabongeros were all thrown into the Taal Lake. Baka mayroon pang nilagay dyan sa iba eh. Ano ha? this committee expresses disappointment to this briefing because we are not able to find very good answers to what you're telling us, no? As comparing it to what the newspaper said. Because in the newspaper, they were very, very positive that the things will be happening soon. So sana, gawin natin lahat ang magagawa natin, no? Sapagkat, Luca, after we will actually ano ba, suspend ba? Yeah, after the adjournment, the next would be sa Quadcom na eh. Ano, we will continue sa Quadcom na. And the Quadcom, magiging committee hearing na ito, no? Where every resource person and witness will now take an oath. Di ba? Oh, ito. Meron akong hawak dito. Ano ang tawag dito? Ha? Martilyo. Yan ha. Martilyo ako dito ha. Pag hindi tayo nakakuha ng kawat, ha, ipupupo sa sarili ko to. hindi sa mga witness natin, ano po ha? Okay. Anyway, I also would like to ask the Commission on Human Rights to do something about this as far as investigating this is concerned, no? We would like to find some answers. Oo. Kapag nagsimula po tayo ng Quadcom 2.0, in the next 2 weeks, we would like to really find answers to this. So, para matapos na po itong usaping ito, no? Sapagkat, Luca, yun lang war on drugs, nahihirapan tayong kumuha ng mga witnesses dito sapagkat natatakot din yung mga kamag-anak ng mga biktima na lumabas eh. Oh, I am so glad na meron ng 300 na raw na mga biktima na pupunta ron sa ICC. Hindi ko alam pa sa ICC. Dito lang pwede na eh. Ito lang pwede na eh. Baka natatakot pa rin sila. Now, ito ha. Iba na ang kapulisan natin ngayon. Iba na. Sa administrasyon ng ating Pangulo, ang ating kapulisan ngayon ay lalong dapat pagkatiwalaan ng taong bayan. Nagagawin ninyo ang dapat yung gawin, para naman magkaroon ng tuwa ang taong bayan sa ginagawa ng ating Philippine National Police. No? Mula nung panahon ni Director General Torre hanggang ngayon, si Director General Nartates, na alam ko na isa rin sa mga masigasig na mangunguna rito. Kaya I hope that I could be able to really be confident that our investigating agencies like the OJ, like the CIDG, the Philippine National Police, the IAS, alam mo ang IAS, saka yung NAPOLCO, may suki namin dito yan, sa Quadcom noong 19 Congress, no? I hope that we could be able to really entrust to you the need of the truth that our people should know. Okay, Congressman Tino, yes, you have another word.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, parang follow-up lang po dun sa, nabanggit nyo na yung buong Taal Lake ay how many square kilometers po? Sir? 234 square kilometers. And natukoy nyo po yung particular na lugar na pinaghanapan nyo, di ba? Gano'ng kalaki po yung area na hinanap sinisid ng mga divers and so on. The total search area of that 234 square kilometers, gano'ng kalaki yung na-cover na area?
Mr. Chair, per the intelligence information provided to us, sir, during our initial survey, there was a specific area pinpointed by the alleged witness.
Okay.
From there, of course, in reality, wala naman yan, sir, silang GPS na tinatawag. So, mata-mata lang. So, on our lenses, and judgment as a expose sa mga conduct ng search and rescue, linawigan namin, sir, yung
Opo.
area. So, yung area na tinuro niya, sir, nag-conduct kami ng, we prepared it, yung search area, 300 by 186 meters at first,
Okay.
and divided it in 4 quadrants. From there, ina-adjust pa namin ulit, sir,
Okay.
pagka ano, kasi may mga drift pa yan, sir. So right now, ang ating area doon ay 300 meters by 300 na, sir.
300,
So, yung, sir, if I may, sir, let me continue. Yung 4 na quadrant, sir, first and third quadrant natin, sir. Yung first, sir, tapos na. Yung third ay totally
Hindi pa
patapos na, sir.
Okay.
So, we will be moving, sir, sa port as mentioned kanina.
So
sir.
ongoing pa po yung
Yes, sir.
search nyo.
And imagine, sir, ang isang quadrant, inaabot kami ng halos sambuan.
So 300 by 300 meter square
Correct,
quadrant po.
Correct po, sir.
Ang total area na target nyong ma-search.
Ma-search,
Batay ito sa information
Provided,
na
sir.
binigay ng inyong informant.
Correct, sir.
No? Ang punto ko lang po ay sa sa lawak po ng Taal Lake. Sabi nyo nga, sorry again, 234 square kilometers. Ganong kalawak ito. Ang sinerch nyo lang, wala pang ang 1 square kilometer. It's only 300 by 300 square. And yet you were already able to turn, at hindi pa tapos yung search, and yet you were already able to recover over 300 pieces of human remains. No? So, ang punto ko ay mukhang may alam talaga yung informant. Di ba? Sa pagkalawak-lawak ng dagat, bakit dun sa more or less sa area na tinuro ay may ganung karami. So meron talagang nalalaman at meron ibig sabihin, it is really, ang explanation dito, mukhang possible explanation talaga, parang dumping ground talaga to. Killing field, you can call. Kaya lang nasa dagat. Nasa lawa. No? So, ibig sabihin, meron talagang karumal-dumal na krimen, no, na nangyayari dito. Yung 300 remains could be, hindi nyo pa ma-determine kung gaano karaming actual bodies yun. Meron ba kayong ganong information? Those 300 skeletal remains, are you able to determine whether or not they belong to, a specific number of individuals? Meron na po tayong alam? Okay. Wala pa po. Pero theoretically, it could be up to 300 individuals. Ang punto ko lang po, parang isang batalyon po yan ng mga bangkay, maximum, no? Na mukhang itinapon dun lang sa areang yun pa lang. Sa napakaliit na area pa lang, kung tutuusin. 300 meters by 300 meters square. Tama po ba? Okay. So, meron pong matinding human rights violations na naganap dito. Kaya tama lang po yung sinabi ni Chair. Definitely, the Commission on Human Rights also has to be involved. And ako, Mr. Chair, ngayon pa lang sasabihin ko na kung sabihin man, in the end, hindi pa tapos, pero kung sabihin man nila, ay wala tayong match sa missing Sabongeros, case closed. Ay hindi po pwede. No? Napalitaw na ang mga human remains na ito. It is incumbent upon both the executive and also Congress to see this through. No? Because, sabi ko nga, up to isang batalyon ng mga bangkay ang nandyan at walang mananagot, walang investigasyon, hindi po pwede. No? So yun po yun, Mr. Chair, yun ang punto na gusto kong i-deal.
We would like,
Mr. Chair.
Kung pwede lang, na lahat po ng mga report and documents to be submitted to us, no? ASEC, General, at Attorney, Padanisan, all of the reports should be submitted to us on this, no? In the next hearing we have, it would be most probably Quadcom na po ito. And we are now going to call even the victims, the relatives of the victims, and even the so-called whistleblowers will be called upon, no, to shed light on the missing Sabongeros. Yes, Congressman Zia.
Well, Mr. Chair, I think we have exhaustively discussed as an initial meeting all the topics of the Isabong and the missing Sabongero are concerned, and I guess just before I move for the adjournment of this meeting, I just like to be clarified as to the numbers kasi it's worrisome. I was listening to Representative Tino. I agree with him. It's unfair to also label Lake Taal kasi Lake Taal is one of our tourist destination in Luzon. So it's really unfair for Lake Taal to be labeled as a dumping site for murdered individuals. So 300 pieces of remains is just really worrisome, no? So I just like to, for the record, no, to keep the record straight, make the record straight also. May I ask Bacas, because I guess General Bacas was the one who mentioned about this 300 remains. Are we talking of remains like skeletal remains, or do we do some accounting and then your office was able to determine the number of possible individuals, thrown in or dumped in Lake Taal?
Yes, sir.
Or are these just pieces, skeletal pieces or remains
Yes, sir.
that do not necessarily belong to a single or number of persons in particular?
Yes.
Kasi nakakabahala, 300, baka iba yung lumabas sa media.
Opo, Mr. Chair. Actually, doon sa 355 na specimen na po, puro po itong mga
So
buto-buto.
specimen siya.
Opo.
Okay, just to be
buto-buto po
clear,
ito.
baka iba lumabas sa media, nakakagulat.
Opo. Mga buto po ito, maliliit at saka medyo mahahaba yung iba po. So, may mga sizes po siya.
Oh, so, ibig sabihin,
Then, out of those po, ay nakapag-generate po tayo sa ating DNA na doon sa Taal po, 3 human remains po. Isang babae, tsaka 2 lalaki.
so you were able to make a proper accounting of these 3
Opo.
remains that you have recovered.
Yes po.
No? Ibig sabihin, ulo hanggang toes, kompleto siya. Tama?
But based on the DNA examination conducted po.
Tama. So tatlo.
Opo.
But the 300 remains, you are referring to 300 skeletal pieces,
Opo.
not individuals, ha?
Not individual po.
Okay. So, 'di ba sa mortem examination, you can also able to determine yung how long or the duration of from the time halimbawa na namatay yung tao up to the time that you recover it, can you also determine the duration or the time kung ilan years, ilang taon, ilang weeks siyang nandoon kung saan nyo ito natagpuan?
Mr. Chair, pwede ko pong ma-refer sa ating medical legal
Yes.
officer po.
Kasi na-remember ko, it happened in 2017 during the Marawi. We also requested the services from your office, and then you did a post-mortem examination. You were able to find out how long these remains were, in the state of their advanced decomposition before they were recovered. Tama po ba? You were able to, kasi the time, importante rin ho sa investigation na ito, yung oras kung kailan hinulog doon, magkakasunod ba to, ano ba yung differences in terms of yung pagtapon sa kanila. Kasi we're talking about possibly, sabi nga ni Chairman, possibly these are victims of EJK. So makikita natin yung periods nung time na pinatay sila. So I think part din doon, can you also able to do some examination as to the timeline nung pagkamatay. 'Di ba? Tama po ba?
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes.
Police Colonel Carpio, Medical Legal Officer and Deputy Director for Operations of Forensic Group. Sir, about the range of the bones or the remains, at least, sir, with the toponymy, it is where the body changes after death.
Yes.
So with the Taal Lake, because of so many factors such as the chemicals, such as the oxides, the algae, and other factors, we can range up with regards to toponymy around 4 to 5 years and above because of the conditions of the skeletons.
No, I'm talking about, so ibig sabihin, you cannot conclusively determine yung mga na-recover nyo ng mga remains doon kung anong oras, anong taon o ilang taon silang nandoon sa Taal.
Yes, sir. So, dami po ng factors na
Yes, because of
i-consider
the,
mo, sir.
yeah, okay, sige. Okay,
Of
sige.
the contents, of course, of the sulfur, of the oxides within the Taal Lake, sir. That's why doon sa aming nakuhang mga profile ng DNA, we can conclude that there are 6 individuals and above because the 6 are all confirmed by DNAs. So may 6 na po tayong DNA profile na nakuha doon sa Taal Lake. With regards to the 300 plus bones, are all bones na iba't ibang parte ng katawan ng tao. So presumably, sir, ang isang tao kasi is more than 200 plus bones. That's why we need to confirm through DNAs kung itong lahat ng bones na ito ay nasa isang tao or 10 tao or 20 tao. That's why we need more time.
Pati yung oras, yung timeline, ito I think is important, Mr. Chair, na ma-determine din kung anong oras, ay yung panahon kung saan nagkaroon ng ganitong pagtapon. Kasi doon ma-determine din kung meron talagang effort at saka meron talagang systematic na ginawa yung ganitong klaseng pagpatay at hinulog sa isang lugar, no? Tama po yung sinabi ni Congressman Tino. Talagang alam na alam kung saan pupuntahan eh, 'di ba? Ibig sabihin, meron talagang systematic at may nag-uutos. 'Yun ang gusto nang malaman ng committee na ito, eh, 'di ba? Kasi this can also be I read also in one of the periodicals, Mr. Chair, that this can also be attributed to the EJK. Kaya importante po yung time frame and timeline dito. That's why I'm asking you, would you be able to determine kung anong year, ilang taong, anong month, ilang gaano sila katagal at gaano yung pare-pareho nilang in terms of duration ang nakita nyo ng mga pieces of bones dyan sa Taal.
With regards to this, Your Honor, as I have said, na marami ito talagang factors. Yung chemical factors, yung depth, even the depth of the Taal Lake, which is 100 and above, will also cause changes of the bones. That's why we will have a difficulty of confirming exact dates or exact years of this skeleton was there in the bottom of the Taal Lake, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Mr. Chair, having no other members who wish to ask questions,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I move that we adjourn this hearing, Mr. Chair.
Okay, before I rule on the adjournment, PNP Human Rights Division, Colonel, will you please coordinate with the Commission on Human Rights on this also? Please, ha? Magtulungan na lang kayo. Okay. So, no objection. The meeting is adjourned.